Welcome to another episode of G. Halloran's Beer Reviews. Today I will be reviewing St. Peter's Ruby Red Ale. I picked this up today from Dan Murphy's, and I know I got picked up last time about mentioning Dan Murphy's a lot, and I don't work for them, no, but I do frequent that place quite often. I find its selections the best in my local area anyway. There's a few other beer stores a bit further out which I'd like to get to as well to have a look at some specialty beers, but today, as I said, St. Peter's Ruby Red Ale. It's brewed in East England, and it comes in at 4.3% alcohol by volume in a 500 milliliter bottle. It is in a green bottle, so which might be a concern if it's had a bit of sunlight. I tried to get one right in the back of the shelf, so if it's been sitting there for a while, it hopefully hasn't been skunked. But it's described on the back as a rich red ale with subtle malt undertones and a distinctive spicy hop aroma from Goldings, brewed with skill and patience in one of Britain's finest small malt breweries. So it got about 75% on ratebeer.com, with a few great reviews. So I guess without further delay, we'll get into it and crack this one open and see what it's like. I'll just pop this top off. A bit tight there. Okay, and I've just got a standard pint glass, English pint glass. I heard it didn't get much head, so I tried to force it a bit there, but it seems to have come up quite well. I can smell that already. I can smell that ruby citrus smell. Smells great. Yeah, well, the head's come up quite well. I don't know what the people were saying on the Rate Beer site. Yeah, well, as you can see, it's a large head. Yeah, they said it didn't have much of a head at all, but yeah, it's quite large there, as you can see. It's very, the head's very creamy. Yeah, it's got some creaminess to it. As for the colour, like, yes, well, it lives up to its name. It's ruby red. It's what you'd imagine, like with the stone ruby. It exactly looks like that colour, like a ruby. So it definitely lives up to its name in that regard. As for the smell, that's very, very different. It's nice. Yeah, you've got your malts there. Definitely got your malts and your citrus, but it seems to like I can taste a bit of smell a bit of cherry. That's what I would describe it as, like a fruity smell like cherry. It's quite interesting. It's almost like a cherry ripe, but in a good way. It's yeah, very interesting. Right, I'll just top this up. Alright, a little bit left in the bottle there, but I'll get to that in a minute. But what we'll get on to next is the most important thing, is the taste test. So, cheers. Yeah, you're really coming through with an English ruby ale. What you would imagine. It's got that malt undertones, but that real hop bitterness straight up. It's quite pronounced, and it lingers in the mouth a little bit. The bitterness, it's still there a bit, but not offensively, not at all. It's actually quite rich. And when I said with that cherry sort of taste, if you could imagine, a sweet cherry dessert or a pie or something like that, it's that sort of feel to it to me. I'll just try some more. Yeah. On the second gulp, the bitterness isn't as severe. It was. I think your palate obviously gets used to it. As it is a bitter beer, it might have been a bit of a shock to my palate when I first tasted it. But yeah, the second gulp was quite nice. Still getting that cherry sort of fruit flavour with the citrus, but the malt undertones. Yeah, it's not a bad ale. As I said, that this one got 75 on the rate beer site online. Um, Other beers from this brewery didn't fare that well actually. While I was looking at them, some of them got 50s, and that's a sort of average type of beers. So I don't know what this brewery or its reputation is like, because I've never actually come across it before until today. Excuse me. It is very carbonated as well. Pardon me. Um, so yeah, what would I give a score to St. Peter's Ruby Red Ale? I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. It's not remarkable, um, but it is very pleasant. Yeah, it's very pleasant, and it's quite enjoyable though. I wouldn't say it's mind blowing. Whether it's your style too, some blokes and women too, of course, that drink beer. Um, I should. I better be careful there, because I know there's a lot of women that they do enjoy their beer as well. So my apologies, but there's certain people that obviously like this style, and they probably lap it up a bit more than me. It's not my ultimate style, the Ruby Red Ale, so that type of red ale. So maybe that for someone else it might be a little bit more. It's definitely not a bad beer. It's not cheap either though. In Australia, it's as I can see, it's been imported by an independent importer, so it was about $7 for this bottle, so it wasn't exactly cheap either. You can get a lot of other imported beers for a lot less that are as good if not better. So we'll finish on that. But St. Peter's Ruby Red Ale, an 8 out of 10. If you like this style of beer and you really like the hot bitterness from the ale beer of this kind, not the Kilkenny, but that's the glass I've got again. But definitely go for it. It's quite enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's a sessionable beer. I reckon for me anyway, if I maybe could have one more bottle, and I'd want to move on to something else, because it is quite rich. It is a very rich beer. But thanks for tuning in again, and thanks for watching. And hopefully I'll do another beer review soon. And take care, and cheers to you all. Thank you.